the million-dollar question, should the government be responsible for brushing our kids' teeth? Specifically, Sir Keir Starmer and the Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting, who announced controversial plans today to improve childhood health under a Labour government that includes supervised nasher brushing in schools. Take a listen.
Too many cases, children are not only failing to get their teeth brushed in the morning, they are going into hospital, the number one cause of admission for children aged between 6 and 10, because of tooth decay that results.
Can I just salute my team for introducing the word nasher into the script tonight? Very old school. Their other plans, which the Labour leader Starmer claimed were fully costed, include a 9 o'clock watershed for junk food adverts, banning vape ads targeted at kids, a free breakfast club in every primary school and better access to child mental health services. They were instantly accused of championing the nanny state, with critics saying the government should have as little input on our lives as possible. Well, itching to get their fangs stuck into this now are maths teacher Bobby Seagull and former Labour Party advisor Mike Butley, both of whom I'm informed have flossed today. Bobby, is it the job of teachers to be brushing our kids' teeth?
So, firstly, I want to say, obviously, I think it's really important to have dental and oral hygiene. I teach in a secondary school and I work sometimes with our local primary schools. And of course, you want the students to have fresh teeth and you don't want them to have dental decay, etc. You know, all the issues with that. But I think my sort of concern from a teaching perspective is, over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen a lot of additional issues and responsibilities being brought upon the teaching profession. You know, there's the mental health responsibilities, there's the welfare responsibilities, there's the counselling, there's a community liaison. So the school teacher role has expanded for the last 10, 15 years. So whilst, of course, I think it's a valiant idea to think about the dental health of our children, I just think you're adding another additional potential burden onto teachers. Because again, when you add something like tooth flossing, and again, I don't think it's a bad thing to floss your teeth. It's great for dental hygiene. You need to think what in the curriculum has to give. Because if you're asking your primary teacher 5 or 10 minutes a day, something's got to give from the curriculum. So that's where my concern comes from.
Mike Buckley is with us as well, former Labour Party advisor. Very old friend of mine. Nice to see you again, Mike. Good memories from my talk radio days. What's your reaction to this? I mean, no one could argue against breakfast clubs or dental hygiene, but doesn't it mean the state is getting too big? And who's going to pay for this?
Well, so the plan for the extra mental health places and for the extra dental places, they're going to have 700,000 more dental appointments for kids. That's going to come because they're going to get rid of non-dom status. So that's where people live here, but they don't pay any tax because they're super wealthy and they can get out of it. So Labour's going to stop that happening. The extra tax income is going to mean that they can pay for this. I mean, I do agree with your previous speaker saying that there's been too much extra work put on teachers who should be freed up to teach. And that's been the case, you know, another failure of the government over the last 13 years, just like we're talking about the failure to take care of our kids. But your point of should government be getting involved in this? Well, of course it should. The end point of this has to be that kids are getting healthy food, that they're getting on a daily basis, that they're getting access to dental treatment when they need it, most importantly prevention, but also cure as well, but also that they're brushing their teeth every day. If that isn't happening, then that needs to get fixed. In an ideal world, they'd all be doing that at home, but if they're not doing it at home, it needs to happen at school, because it's got to happen somewhere, because the state can't, parents have a responsibility, of course, primary responsibility, but we as a society have a collective responsibility to bring up our nation's children, and that's why Keir Starmer has set out this set of proposals today, which is not just about cleaning teeth, but it's also about mental health. It's also about, as you say, stopping advertising vaping to kids. It's staggering that is illegal, and this government's doing nothing about it, isn't it?
Now, OK, I hear what you're saying, Mike, but Bobby, you're a maths teacher, and to me this doesn't add up, because what's going to happen is that if you provide breakfast clubs to every primary school pupil, you're brushing their teeth, God knows what other aspects of their life you'll intervene on. You're sending a message to the parents, which is this is not your job anymore, and you create a culture of expectation.
Yeah, it's really challenging because, again, if you ask most people why they enter the teaching profession, they enter because they want to inspire the next generation. They're quite caring people. They want to support their communities. But there's also like a balance to be found, because whilst we want to make sure that our children are looked after, catered for, etc., we also need to make sure that our parents in our community take responsibility. And again, one of the sad things I can tell you is if I go to a parents' evening, often I can pretty much tell by meeting the parents if the child is going to do well or not. And that, to be honest, that's a sad indictment of a society. It should be the child's individual capabilities, not because they're parents. So I think there needs to be some way of making sure that we encourage as a society parents to take responsibility, because having children is a privilege. Some of my peers in their 30s and 40s, they can't have children. So having a child is a privilege. And when people have children, they should make sure that they are taking care of them. And again, I think, if we're looking at what we can do in schools to support, I would say bring in parents, do sessions with them, support them, educate them. I don't know whether reaching the child will brush their teeth that one day, but at home, they go back to those parents every day. So I think we need to encourage greater parental responsibility.
OK, class dismissed. Thank you so much.